And we're here, and I made a really classic mistake. Hi, Oliver. Oliver. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Oh, thank you, and welcome. That was really classic. Last time we had a lot of problems with the echo feedback, but don't have the YouTube feed and the Hangout open at the same time. So that's it. Welcome, Oliver, and thank you for joining us, and welcome to everybody else who's hopefully listening. This is well, actually, I think it's the third or um, global CE-5 hangout we're doing, and Oliver is a regular for years now in the hangout. So welcome tonight, because as you all know, we had some issues with the sound and the streaming. You need some pretty good internet connections to have this work perfectly. So tonight, I made a playlist, as you might have. That's what I started off with, and I'm gonna share the screen so you can see. So tonight, when we're doing the chakra balancing, and there's also uh, once again Alan Watts' guided meditation, awakening the mind. I tried to go outside today to do an improvised meditation myself, but the wind didn't really agree with the camera. So I let Alan Watts do the voiceover, but we'll talk about it afterwards. There's also yeah, some good stuff there. But welcome to you, Oliver. It's good to see you again. Um, we talked about today. One of the subjects we wanted to talk about today was the experiences and you can have when you are awakening your mind and starting to feel and see the deeper reality that's around us. Um, I had a lot of personal messages in the last month or so uh, from people who's talking about how they sometimes get confused, and the experience of opening up your consciousness can be overwhelming and confusing. So we talked about that, and uh, so would you like to say hello to everyone?
Hello, everybody. I like it to be here again. Thank you for this guided meditation evening.
You're welcome to be here, but I want to let's do. I'm gonna share the screen now to tell how it looks with the. Um, I have, as you can see, there's a playlist for tonight. You can find that. Looks like this, and you will be able to find it here in on the Google Plus Hangout site. Oh, that's me. Oh, sorry, I have to share. Hang on a second. There we go. Um, this is what the event site looks like, and you will be able to find the playlist here if you press that. Um, this is the playlist for tonight, and I just played the trailer. The next will be the chakra balancing, and tonight I have also, as I said, I went to the beach and tried to make one improvised guide, but the wind kind of messed it up. But tonight I also have, if you want to use, if you don't want to use the ones we used last time with the affirmations for the chakra balancing, there's a alternative here, and also what can be listened to and enjoyed without having to watch me sitting on the beach. So that's different today. Hopefully that will help having the sound be better for everybody. But as you said, today, I wanted to talk more about the how should I say, the ethics and the protocols, and how you can best achieve this in a positive way. And as we talked about earlier, lots of people use meditation for this, and in the course of how should I say, developing your opening up your consciousness, and opening up your chakras, and being more aware and awake to the reality that's around us. Sometimes that can cause you to
Be overwhelmed.
yes, and as you said, how can, when you become aware of how should you say, alternate realities, how can you,
Multi-dimensions.
yes, and how to how to separate the different realities from each other, so not to get lost, and we talked about fear being one of the things you first of all, to make, for the contact part, it's a fear is not so useful as
Your
as a
intention
tool.
has to be right.
Yes.
And when you get into circumstances of fear, that only means you are not ready for it. You are getting like a little child into atom circumstance, or radioactivity. You don't know where you are. You don't know what you are doing. Probably you do something not good for yourself or for others.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, therefore, also the dream state is a very good thing, because much people can awake in the morning and say, "Ah, it was only a dream. I can forget it. It's not real," and so on.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get more and more into this theme, you will automatically get the right circumstance to open yourself up and to get more and more information without losing yourself.
Mm-hmm. And yes, we also talk about the how should you say, the contradiction between going into a state of mind where you actually are not uh, very conscious thinking, but it's more about experiencing and feeling and being, and and we talk about how do you communicate, how do you, if you're in a state of being where you don't think, how do you remember your experience when you come back, and how do you
I would
communicate
say
communicate
consciousness and use of the mind are two kinds of shoes. Because when you are in a circumstance of consciousness, you get informations, but your mind, the part where you are thinking, where you are asking, "What is this? What is this? Why can't I do this?" and so on, gets still. When the mind is not still, you are not in this part of circumstance. When you transfer yourself in a higher grade and look at your body down, at the earth down, and so on, you're not anymore a part of the body, and the mind automatically gets still. But
hmm
you have a consciousness of everything in this moment, or you are a part of a higher system, and you can feel it, because consciousness in our nowadays of philosophic understanding comes over respective thinking over the different things what are happening to you. But for my opinion, you got two tools to get consciousness. One is the mind, and one is the heart. And
Oh
the
yes.
heart can give you information without knowing logically or able to be explaining to anybody how you can get this information. You know it.
Oh
Like
yes.
like you know the laugh of your mother. You know it's there, but you can't explain it.
Oh, exactly. And as we talked about, and one of the essential things about making contact is, and we talked about that last time, and also in general, and in the protocol that the use in the ET Let's Talk community is very much about making the connection heart to heart.
Yeah.
It's not
It's the only
it's not a
way.
connection made mind to mind so
No,
much
no.
as heart to heart, and this is also what I was gonna to talk about today during my meditation is um, in my visualization, and then I know that a lot of people, the way they visualize this is actually to connect heart to heart with other people in the group or other people everywhere, because a part of this is also visualizing. If you have friends or people doing this, you should also visualize them doing this at this moment, because that will enhance the energy and the contact, and that connection is made heart to heart.
I
But
like sometimes to use explanation from the optics. You have a convergent and a divergent tool.
mm-hmm,
The convergent is where you concentrate your energies to one point, and that is the mind.
mm-hmm.
And the divergent, where you get a feeling of everything and you raise bigger than you are, is your heart. And
Yes.
when you want to make a connectivity to something that is out there, you have to open yourself over your heart tool. You can't use your mind for that.
Oh, exactly, and that's and this is and that for me personally, it has also, when I do the visualization about projecting your mind out into space or out into another reality, whatever. I always say, I use the sun as a huge part of if you
Of
want,
your
if you
being.
yeah, yes, and also the heart, the heart to heart connection. And when I do it, first of all, of course, it's as we talked about, doing the grounding and stuff, and letting the energy come from the earth, rise up through you. So, but when you do the, how should I say, the conscious projection or whatever, I use the visualization very much about the sun, because for me the sun is kind of like the heart of the solar system, and in a visualization, if you try to look at the stars, we don't see the planets where beings might or might not exist, or where they are. We only see the stars. And in the same way, imagine you're somewhere far out there. You would only see the sun as a speck, and that's the speck they should be looking for, because they can't see us. So if we, in the same way, we're just a speck in the solar system. But if you connect to the sun is kind of like the heart, and you use that as a connect to the sun and project from there
Mhm.
out.
Mhm. Mhm.
And also, I also feel very much on a deeper level that the stars are the hearts of of the universe in a very physical sense as well, because that's where we were all born. All the particles, everything we see around us, is somewhat of an. We have this illusion that then I die and this I will be gone. No, you will not, because you were born billions of years ago in the heart of a star. The molecules in this hand and in this hand might be cooked into two different stars, and the molecules in you and me might have been crammed so close together that the illusion of separation we feel is not real in some sense, because we were made in the heart of a star, and we are star stuff. So we are very closely connected in a way, because
I go also in the direction that every soul, what is rising, what is ascending to a higher grade of consciousness, someday will become a star.
oh yes.
And therefore, you have the analogy in the film and music business. I want to be a star.
hmm
That's not coming from somewhere that is very mythical. That is to raise yourself so in a high grade that you are shining for others. Jesus had a shine that people who had a closed third eye and did not see auras, that they were aware of this shining high grade of consciousness.
Oh yes, oh yes, and we talked about that also about when we talked about some of the experiences you can have exactly when you talk about seeing auras, feeling energies, feeling sensations like pressure on your head or tingling or all these things. It can, we always say, well, be open-minded. Don't be judgmental. Don't be afraid. Things, contact, signs of all these things. Besides the lights in the sky, because that's only part of it, can be, they're creative and so on. But at the same time, some of these sensations come from within yourself. These are the sensations you get when you open up. So it's not because if you're feeling pressure on your forehead, if you're feeling tingling, if you're feeling energy flowing through your hands. These are things that are there all the time. This is not you making contact with extraterrestrials or interdimensional being. This is you making contact with what's around you all the time. But
Yes.
you're just feeling it temporarily. Usually, most people feel this as it's very good. Alan Watts describes it as waves and crust. Sometimes you're on the top of the wave and you're feeling everything, and sometimes you are in the crest. So you're down and you don't feel very connected. And humans are we don't walk in light all the time. if
we have a planet that is sometimes in the dark and sometimes in the light.
Absolutely.
But we have also the moon, the lunatic energy.
Oh yes, there's a lot of stuff going on that when you open up your chakras and your intuition and your third eye and your heart chakra and all these things, and also when you become more grounded and more connected to the things around you. And I'm not talking all the time because once again, this is that would be insufferable. We are not certainly you and I are not very
separated.
No, but we're not also we're not being able to shed your fears and heighten your vibrations for periods of time is all we can hope for. I eat meat, I smoke cigarettes. There's a lot of things that I could do better, but that's not the point here. The point is that we have the ability to do this if
it's necessary and we want it.
And also very much about these things is it's little things you change on the way that makes a big difference, in the long run.
When I am in the good mood, I feel the connectivity to everything what is surrounding me.
Absolutely.
It's a part of myself. Today, bee was somehow in my kitchen, and the little bee could not find the way out because the window looked like she could flew through, but she couldn't. And I helped the bee and used cup over the bee, but the bee did not want to go into the cup. And I told to the bee, please help me that I can help you. Please come into the cup. And bzzzt, it was in my cup. So I could land her outside the window. And she flew away.
Yeah.
So it's a kind what you are thinking, and after your impression, after your visualization, the consciousness opens for your consciousness the possibility to see the answers. So, years ago, I have written in German a sentence: when you are not aware that you can telepathically talk with cats and dogs, you will never get an example that you were able to talk with them. So you have first to put yourself in a circumstance that you believe in something, that this belief and vision opens you examples that you are right. It's like getting crazy somehow, yeah. For a psychologist, he would easily say that you are not totally clean, but they work for the farm industry. What can I tell? They have to tell some stuff like that. That
Oh
they do
yes.
money and work. You know, money making world we are in now.
Oh yes, and that's also very much you know, how should I say, part of this, you know, people always say, but don't you feel frustrated when you look at the world like the way it is today, and we are on the brink of total.
Often,
Yeah, and I
totally.
say, well, you know,
It's
that's
necessary.
of course, but that's a part of it, and that's a part of the evolvement. You know, we're going through. You know, and there's absolutely no guarantee we will make this. You know, but the every time you use money, for instance, as an argument, we can't do this because it's too expensive, or you can't do this because it will need money, or I don't have the time, but I have some money, so you know I don't have time to meditate, and I don't have time to
If you
buy a
say
thermos
so.
and put water in the flask instead of using plastic. Well, then what can I say? Then it
When
won't
you
help because money can't buy you freedom. Money can't buy
a
you
feeling,
an environment that
a
will be
wealth,
clean. Money won't buy you disclosure of all these things. These things will come from evolving the human spirit and yourself and the way we treat our environment. This is no one. You can't pay your way out of this. Just like you know, if you have a lot of money and you pay a lot of money for charity, okay, but that won't change the fact that you are you gobbling up much more resources than me and all this stuff. This is something that comes from within. So and everybody can feel, oh, but it's totally completely impossible to change anything.
that is a lie,
You can change yourself.
demon. That is a lie demon in yourself telling you this story over and over again. That it holds you in this kind of culture, but it's not true. Money is very materialistic. It's not spiritualistic.
No.
No way. So I, for myself, try not to live with money, and it's not easy sometimes for myself thinking.
Oops,
And
I'm sorry. Hang on a
okay,
second. I'm just going to. Sorry, that was a phone.
happens.
Yeah, and now my dog is here. That's life. My son and my wife is here, and the dog is here. So
Okay.
yes.
What I wanted to say, sometimes for myself, because I'm born in this culture, I awake mornings and have no money in my pocket and tell myself, where can I buy now something to drink or something to eat? But in the end, when I'm able to bring this thinking away and to be aware that I will have everything what is necessary, everything what is for me today necessary, somebody will ring my door and want to cook with me, or I go outside and find money on the way or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It is. You know. Of course. You know, I have a friend who used to say, you know, money is nothing, but it's a good way of paying, and and of course it is, and we all need, as you said, we need all these things, but these things are not, you know, the illusion is that they're connected to money because they're actually not. You know, water is not.
Wealth, to be wealthy
Water will
is
come
not
down from the
natural.
sky, you know, with
To be
rain.
rich is natural, and one of these lies we grow up is that you can't be rich when you don't have money. That you can't be somebody when you don't have money, when you're not in a state of something. But I, for myself, have very young seen that the cravat you were here, yeah, higher grade you are in this culture of money, the more it's closed about you, and you can't breathe anymore because somebody is holding you. Like Alexander the Great said, I am the powerful person in this culture, but I am the less freest of everybody.
Oh, that's just like when we were talking about my label. I never made a dime of that thing for 8 years, and so people say, how can you feel that it's successful? And I'm like, man, have you heard the music? Do you know what we're doing there? We're making music. We're not making money. That's not the that was never the point. And as you might be able to see, I live in a real dump, and I never really
was after.
I had the same feeling, about money all my life. It's like they don't really matter,
Information can bring people much more to movement than money can.
Oh yes, and when I have money, I always spend them on weird stuff and instruments or going skiing or traveling. I spent all my money traveling as much as I could because I thought, that the best thing you can buy for money is experiences, not material.
Like in a little story I heard once, when you want to travel over the ocean and you get into a city at the coast where they are building ships, you have now two possibilities to get over the ocean. The first possibility is to use money, to pay the workers to build your ship. And it will take time. It will take more and more time. You will pay much more. You will lose your nerves. You will be angry and so on. And one day the ship will be ready and you can start to go to sail over the seas. The second way is you get into the city and you tell the people about the feeling how it could be a very interesting adventure to go overseas. And all the people who get this information, who get this story, themselves want to go overseas, and the ship will be built itself, and you only have to get a ticket on the ship. So there's always another way.
Exactly, and it was funny when we did the campaign in November, December, all this disclosure stuff. There was a lot of people, all the time asking, how can we get this? How can we do this? How,
do it.
I said, well, you just have to start, But they're all the time they're on a project. My project now is I'm in college, and when I'm done college, I want to find a girl and I want to have a family because sometime in the future, blah blah blah. And then when I've done all this stuff, then I have the time and then I have the knowledge
and then you have less time and you have less money. The higher grade you
get. And everybody asks me how, some people they don't even, apparently it's today it sounds impossible that you just take your passport and your guitar and some clothes and put them in a bag and then you go, I want to travel. And you travel, you go all the way to Morocco and you get stuck and you have some weird stuff happening there and you come back and it's been 3.5 months and you've seen a bunch of stuff and they go, oh, how did you get the money? Well, I didn't really have that much money. I made some money, I figure out, and then I had a credit card and thought, well, might as well go until, the credit card doesn't work and I'll hitchhike back. And they go, you can't do that, that's impossible. No, the thing that's impossible is if you think you are going to if you want to go see the world, but it always has to be next year or in 2 years or whatever, that's what's impossible. If you want to go see the world, do it.
Go.
Okay?
Yeah.
Go. And as you say, things will turn out. If you don't worry about but if you go, but I can't go because in 3 days I have no money. Okay, so go, and in 3 days you figure out, you do the dishes. If you play guitar, go play it in the street, beg, whatever.
Constructivism is very, very easily functioning. I have met in my short life some people who are from the first age, when they were little, have the thinking that anytime they need money, they will have it.
Oh yeah,
And that's crazy to see such people.
People ask me, how did you get the money to do all the skiing, all the and off piste and all this? I'm like, well, you must be mad, you get up at 3:30 with two guys, and you start walking up the mountain with your skis on your back, and when the sun goes up in 3.5 hours, and you'll be on the top, and they're like, that would be much easier taking a helicopter. Duh, of course. I don't have money for a helicopter, but that hasn't stopped me. I've been there many times, in the morning, seeing the sun go up and skiing down.
Yeah.
It took a lot of effort, of course. And of course, it was dangerous. And of course, it would be nice with a helicopter, but that doesn't mean you can't do it. Just like you said, do it. But we're just talking a lot, and the time is going. I'm thinking maybe we should do I want to do the chakra balancing first.
Mm-hmm.
People. This is part of the protocol I usually do myself.
Mm-hmm.
As I showed in the playlist, I used to use this 15-minute chakra balancing. And this is more like to connect and get in the right mood. And then I made my own one with some affirmations. People enjoy that. A lot of people use that. I'm more, for my personal stuff. It's more about feelings, energies, and visualization. But I totally get why it's about the same things as we talked about. The lower part, the upper part, and everything it's connected, and these symbols are a good way to describe it. So I'm thinking I'm gonna share the screen and let the chakra balancing go, and then we'll talk a bit more, and then we'll let Alan watch and me sitting looking really deep do the rest, and we'll talk afterwards. So see you in a minute. The first chakra is the root chakra, the Muladhara. Affirmations would be belonging, safety, trust, connection to the earth. I am here in my body and all is well. I trust in the process of life. I am safe always. I am loved. next chakra is the sacral chakra, Svadhisthana. Affirmations would be feelings, relationships, pleasure, creativity, sexuality. I am surrounded by relationships that feel good. I am a sensual and creative being. The next chakra is the solar plexus chakra, the Manipura. Affirmations be personal power, self-control, vitality, purpose, directions. I trust my own guidance. I am a powerful creator of my life. I feel great purpose and passion for life. The next chakra is the heart chakra, the Anahata. Affirmations would be love, compassion for self and others, forgiveness, deep connection, courage. It's easy to feel compassion for others. I accept myself and others easily. Love is abundant in my world. next chakra is the throat chakra, the Vishuddha. Affirmations would be communication, truth, expressions, independence. I speak my truth with confidence. I express myself in loving ways. My voice is truthful and strong. I communicate with clarity and ease. The next chakra is the brow chakra of the third eye, the Anja. Affirmations would be intuition, awareness, imagination, intelligence. I am aware in every moment. My imagination is blissful. I trust my intuition. My vision is powerfully understood. The last chakra is the crown chakra, the Sahasrara. Affirmations, connection with higher self, spirit, source, universe, God or divine wisdom. I connect easily with spirit. I am sure of my inner knowing. My experience is abundant. I am pure light and love. And I should be back. Ah, did you enjoy that, Oliver?
It was okay, but I had the feeling that I can't get at ease into the mood because it's English, not
Ah,
German.
yes.
So sometimes
Oh,
my mind was too much working with what does this word mean,
oh,
and
yes.
I was not at easy able to
But
fall into
you
the
know,
mood.
Alan Watts is in English as well, and one of his good points is that don't worry too much about what I'm saying or trying to understand what I'm saying, because your mind will take care of that. Your brain will take care of that automatically. But I'm doing this in English because most of that's the most universal language I can find,
Is
and and
Chinese.
and and also for me personally, because I lived as a young man, I lived for a year in America, and ever since I have been bilingual, I feel
Mhm.
I,
It's easy for you
I
also to
communicate
think.
very much in English, and yes, and actually it's become so weird that I'm writing better, you know. My English, the spell check in the English is going better than Danish. So, but that's just me. So of course, yes. But also, as I said, that was usually I don't listen to myself doing doing the affirmations or anything. I just use music for and sounds for this. But I thought I would make my own version of the stuff I like and combine it with with people use the affirmations and all the chakra things. Then I
I,
get a lot. I
I,
get a lot of questions about, are you Buddhist, and do you know about this, and do you know about that? I'm actually, it's the other way around. I learned about this doing it,
yeah,
and and
learning
and
by
by
doing.
and via the, how should I say that, this my spirit guide, my guide, and then the contact I experienced. Has been very much about um, a personal thing about learning these techniques, learning the meditation. And I didn't really get, when people say you should just do that and you should just do that and blah blah blah, and oh, but that's just your chakras opening up. I had no idea what they were talking about, and it was very much mumbo jumbo for me. But now I see it the other way around. This is a way of explaining to a lot of people, putting symbols that we can relate to
Also, for
together.
my personal opinion or my personal practicing in meditation, something like this 50 minutes are good to get into the mood, but
Hmm.
it's not enough.
Oh no,
I
that's
need much more longer terms of meditation to get away, to find something, and to get back.
yes, that absolutely. And this is, as I said, when I'm doing this, on my own or in a group or whatever. This is just the beginning, and then we'll go right after this. Go right into the meditation, and that will be another 15 minutes of guided meditation or whatever you would like. And then, of course, you stay there for a long time. And if you're outside, you're changing your this this making a lot of clicks. but and if you're outside, you might also be aware that something is going on, and you will open your eyes and you will talk and all this stuff, but you will still be in a different state of consciousness. Doing this often, when I do this with my wife, which is most common when we're outside, doing the
Through the
GCE-5.
music.
My wife will be watching, and I will be meditating, and it's always very interesting to see, because she sees the things I will see astrally will happen, in the sky. So
Mhm.
so when I, after some time, being deep and all this stuff, I open up and open my eyes, and I go, well, I saw this and this and this, and she goes, yeah. they came from there and they went there, and you know, and
It's cool that you can do this with your wife together.
oh yes.
My personal experience in this was in the most teams I was meditating C5s. Nothing directly visual was happening until they were not asleep or away.
Yeah.
Then stuff happened that it would fit in a science fiction movie.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Then, well, I think, you know, when we
They
talk
know.
about the fear and the intention and all this stuff, we have to remember, because I was, you know, all about the. Some people go, well, how can you be sure that you won't attract evil aliens and all this stuff, you know? But I see it very differently, because I don't believe in evil aliens as such, you know. It has to do with.
I believe in evil aliens. I see them every day on the street.
No, but it's more. I
But
think,
I
you
know
know.
what you mean. When you are in a higher grade of circumstances, in a higher grade of consciousness, all this dark side stuff, like Yoda told us,
Mhm.
is far away. This fear, anger, hate comes from no knowledge. Comes
Oh
from
yes,
don't have the connectivity feeling. If you
yes.
have the connectivity feeling with everything, there is no bad. There is no
No,
black.
no,
There
no,
is
no,
only sun.
and also I was thinking about. I have been very much thinking about the ethical aspects of being advanced, and when I had these experiences of what people would, you know, describe as a telepathic exchange or consciousness based exchange of feelings and thoughts and this, it makes you think, you know, what happens when you become telepathic, you know. What are the consequences? What are the ethical aspects and consequences of this when you evolve to that kind of state? You know, because every human goes, shit, you know. I don't want to know what you're thinking, because I have a lot of bad thoughts myself.
But the thing is, when you got in this circumstance, you don't see the difference between you and me. You see the other like your best brother. And
Oh
you
yeah.
would never think bad about him or her when you see some bad thinkings in him or her.
Well,
It's like
I see it's very. I think it's very simple. You know, if you evolve these, when you evolve into a being like that, you have two choices. Okay, either you become a higher, ethically evolved being as well, or you become a logical being. You shed your feelings and all this stuff, technologically, whatever, however, and you become like Mr. Spock, you know, like the pure logic kind of type. The human point of view is, you know, those must be evil, because if they came and destroyed us, that would be, you would perceive that as evil, but they would do that because of some higher logic we cannot understand.
it's like the ethical question, is it evil to kill a virus?
Oh yeah, exactly,
It's easy because a virus makes you ill, and you are then ill.
mhm,
Probably you are close to death, and you have to kill the virus to get alive again. So
mhm.
the ethics is only working in some circumstances. At the higher grades, you can't tell ethically. It's not.
No,
It's
but you
hard
know,
to describe.
we are too stupid to understand that higher kind of logic. You understand what I'm saying? That could seem evil to us, and we would perceive it as evil actions if somebody came and did that, did something to us. I find it highly unlikely. You know,
When
but
people ask me, for example, the last 10,000 years of humankind, it was wars, people killed each other, made bad things to each other, also to the planet, and so on. This is bad. Humans are bad. And I tell them, okay, it's only a part of a longer story, and you don't see the bigger thing of it. Probably we need it for our soul to rise, the consciousness of the human soul, this dark time.
Mm-hmm.
Like a child, when a child does not have the possibility to make some wrong decisions, they won't learn what is right. And that is the thing. We needed the dark side. We needed this killing each other and so on to raise the human consciousness on a particular point.
Oh yes, but and also when I people so often find, you know, it contradictory when I say, they say, "Wow, don't you find it amazing? We are living, at the verge of a new age, and and soon we will know about the aliens and all this stuff."
Tomorrow, not today.
No, yeah, if you pay this and this much to this and we have these guys sign this and if the American government blah 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 in 60 days and everything will blah, and the angels will come save us and we will have free energy and blah 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 blah. I'm all like, no, that's not the. I'm trying to see, I think it's more, for me it's more like, in evolutionary terms we are on the verge of a new age, but that has to be seen, in 200. 500,000 years of human evolution. We are now at the verge of a new age. That could be in 6 months, but it could be in 300 years as well. That will still be very close. We are still on the verge of a new age, compared to that time, as you said, and as you said, we needed a lot of time to evolve.
Learn, yeah.
Yes.
And for me, the border is not 1 second. The border is something what happens in 8 ages or 8 generations, in 8 generations of, and some people are already on a higher grade of consciousness.
Oh, yes.
Some are far, far away, and this is the chaotic circumstance we are in. It's very colorful. It's the how do you call the astrologic time we are in? It's the time of
we're going
Aquarius.
into this. Oh yes, we're going into the age of Aquarius.
No, we are
in the
age of Aquarius.
Yes.
And Aquarius is a clown. He likes it colorful. He likes that everybody has something to tell. Even he's not right, but he likes that much happens. Red and green and blue and everything is there.
Exactly, but that's just also. It is an exciting time. We live in an exciting time. Everybody goes, "Oh, I wish I knew this. I wish I knew that. I wish I." But my lifetime, when I was young, and had and started making the stories about the bases on Mars and the UFOs and all this stuff, because I knew it was there all the time. I just knew that was beyond my understanding.
Okay.
But back then, the most common, how should I say, acknowledged theory about our universe was the steady state still. The universe has always been there. Has always been, and matter is continually being created out of nothing, and then people started to. Then we realized, that the universe is expanding and it's actually going faster, and then you realize, well, the steady state theory is probably wrong, because if everything's moving away, they had to be together, Oh, we had a Big Bang. How long ago? Well, 13 billion years, blah, blah, blah. All this is happening in our lifetime, okay? We might think, oh, but 300 years, that's so long. No, because we can already see it now. People can see it now. You can just go outside, look up, spend your time doing this stuff, and you will have your own experiences. But that's not proof, and you can't catch it on camera. We can't understand what's going on. How can it move faster than blah blah? Doesn't matter, okay? When I was young, this was steady state, and I was like, it sounds really weird, So why is everything moving away, How can things come out of nothing, And it turned out, well, they were wrong, and they put out the satellites, the cosmology, and the science of consciousness, and all this stuff is actually breaking new ground every day, and we do live in a very exciting time. For us, of course, it can be frustrating, you know,
For everybody,
to see all the abstract potential of this evolvement right out there, but we still not grasping it, you know, somehow. But at the same time, you know, well, you live in 100 years, and everything will be known about it. You know, we have found the graviton, we found the Higgs particle, we did all this stuff, but that's what we're doing right now.
What do you think? What do you think? How was Galileo feeling himself in his time, in his culture?
Exactly. So you know, all the frustration and all the knowledge, you know, and all these things going, why can't people understand this, and the feelings you might sometimes have, you know. A lot of people when we did the disclosure stuff and all this, and there's a lot of hoo-ha, and everybody goes, but you're just feeling sad because you were cheated. No, I don't feel sad. I don't feel cheated anymore, because that's a weird concept, because I feel that the people cheating other people are cheating themselves. Okay?
Because I'm a part of everything.
Yes, but you must be completely, you know, depressed about seeing how then, if you feel connected to everything, don't you, you know, why don't you just give up?
You can't feel depressed when you're connected. You just feel depressed when you feel yourself not connected.
Yes, exactly, and also, you know, this is, but that's the way things are, you know. This is the human nature of sorts, you know, and this is why we have to evolve, because, you know, if you give into that kind of feeling, then you give into the fear, okay? Then you give into the idea that it doesn't matter if I do anything, or if I don't do anything, or whatever I do, because the human nature is just corrupted, and we will destroy ourselves. Okay?
Or more bad, you say yourself, everything is bad, and I have to be now also bad to get my piece of cake.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes, oh yeah, exactly. We all have to, you know, we all have our price. Or, you know, everybody's corruptible. I certainly am. You know, I have my price. That's for sure. but some things, you know. But once again, this is like, you know, people ask me, you know, why don't you take donations, or, you know, how can you do this, and why are you doing this for free, or you must understand that a proper retreat costs so and so much for a week, you know, blah blah.
It's an easy answer. Materialism and spiritism are two different worlds. When you add a material circumstance in a spiritual doing, you despiritualize everything. When I look at the today churches, where you have this this baggage where you put your money inside, and there is a priest who tries, like an actor, to get standing ovations to rise the consciousness of the people, and then the money thing comes into and it puts them again back down, so they have to come next Sunday again and again and again. So up down, up down, up down, up down. You know, when you have, from my experience, you can do yoga for money, but you give them only a technique.
Oh yeah.
When you do yoga without getting money, you have the ability to raise the consciousness of the trainees also, and to give them something on the way with it, not only the technique.
Oh yes.
It's a huge discourse when I talk with some of the occult or New Age people who say, but I have to get my money somewhere. I have to get money for the praxis I gave them. What's bad with the money thing? I said, yeah, you can get money from them, but then don't await that you raise their consciousness.
Oh, but, you know, Well, it's like this guy James Underdown, whatever he is. You know, he claims he will pay $100,000 for proof of ghosts or aliens or UFOs and stuff. And I asked him several times to bring the $100,000 to Janne, you know, in cash alone, and we will show him stuff.
No problem.
But he won't come. He doesn't even answer, you know. And of course it's a joke, you know. But in reality, if I told him, you know, the only way we can show a ghost if you bring 100,000 cash, because we need to burn them for the ceremony. Okay, he wouldn't do it, you know. But so it's a joke. It's a joke, you know. I bet he doesn't have 100,000 because I wrote his webmaster and everybody, and I said, you know, please show me your bank receipt that you have these 100,000, you know, because I was told a lot of people trying to get a hold of him, but he never answers. He only goes to the newspapers and say I have 100,000. So when people react
into the news,
so yes, because there's all these kinds of, you know. Then you have to go to his laboratory in Santa Monica and show it, and I'm like, hey guys, I can't bring them there. You have to go where they will come. Okay? No, because then it's not blah 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 blah. This is all about money and flow of money and about paying for useless information.
For example, you are a musician, and a musician is for me a kind of artist. And when an artist is doing something, he's opening through his heart, getting a higher feeling, and through this opening he gets something into reality. And when a real musician is into the music, he doesn't need any drugs. This is the purest drug itself.
Absolutely.
And when you give this musician then money to pay him to make music, it will be a different kind of music.
Oh, absolutely.
It won't be this kind of strong energy he's getting into reality.
Oh, being poor and being, you know, has a lot of advantages.
Yeah.
You know, and also because, you know, people always tell me, well, all these things, how can you do that? Because you have no money.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, how can you do it with all the money? You know, you know, people tell me what you did, you know, and the stuff you present, that's impossible. And I go, why? Because you had absolutely no budget. And blah. I said, no, but I had a lot of people with good intentions.
Yeah.
I had some tools. We provided free tools for all kinds of stuff. Okay, ads and all this stuff. And a few people gave coupons, and we won in a Christmas competition, and the result was this. And they go, but that's impossible because we spent $3,000 on the same thing, and those ads didn't work. Okay, what's the problem here? Okay, what's the problem here? Were your ads bad? Were your intentions, the whole idea, did you not grasp the concept? Or did you just get sucked into passing on the green? Because there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that going on. But what does it actually mean? Whatever, you know, it's all about passing around the money. It's not about the actual products of what you're doing, you know. That comes from a different place. It comes from the intention. Okay.
Yes. I don't want to get into this political issue, capitalism and communism. But in the end, Marx also have written a book about it. You have only two different kinds of being. You can have stuff, or you can be. If you are, you don't have. If you have stuff, the stuff has you also. Exactly. And you're in a cage of materialism. You don't see it because you're into it. You can first time see the cage when you get out, when you are poor, when you become.
And people even get afraid of stuff that's free sometimes. There must be something fishy. There must be something going on. these guys are offering me a free hug.
They
There
want
must be
my
something
soul.
going on. There must be something behind the hug.
Yes, yes.
and so that's what you're saying. You get caught up into this belief that if it's free, or if it's given without somebody wanting something back, of course I want a hug back. If I get one for free, I would like to get one back, but that usually comes by itself.
Yeah.
But it is, and then that's also a problem around these things. How much can you, what do you share, and because there's always, as you said, there's a lot of people who knock you on the head, or want to sell you some drugs because you're absolutely mental. But this is most often, this is the how should I say, the intention behind that is passing around money. There's no higher consciousness driving that, or higher ethics, or anything. When people talk about, then Greenpeace did this action against fracking or something, and 9 out of 10 will go, what a bunch of morons, they're just standing in the way of progress, okay? And then in 2 years, everything's totally polluted, and the water is gone, and everybody goes, well, that's just the kind of thing you have to sacrifice to get progress, okay? No, it's not. It's all about passing around the green. So, but otherwise we're talking a lot, and we're actually talking like, so I think maybe we should try do the next thing with the awakening the mind with Alan Watts.
I'm making also a little break, a little short break for VC toilet. But
okay, yeah.
Do your program. I come back.
Okay, but this will also take about 15 minutes. And as I said, I went to the beach and tried to do my own, but the sound was really bad, so I put. But I'm sitting there, in the nature.
And the wind came to be your friend, and it was
I'm looking very connected to everything. So see you later.
See you later.
Yeah. Yeah, and just doing this again.
Well, now, the easiest way to get into the meditative state is to begin by listening. If you simply close your eyes and allow yourself to hear all the sounds that are going on around you, just listen to the general hum and buzz of the world as if you were listening to music. Don't try to identify the sounds you're hearing. Don't put names on them. Simply allow them to play with your eardrums. And let them go. In other words, you could put it, let your ears hear whatever they want to hear. Don't judge the sounds. There are no, as it were, proper sounds or improper sounds, and it doesn't matter if somebody coughs or sneezes or drops something. It's all just sound. And if I am talking to you right now and you're doing this, I want you to listen to the sound of my voice just as if it were noise. Don't try to make any sense out of what I'm saying, because your brain will take care of that automatically. You don't have to try to understand anything. Just listen to the sound. As you pursue that experiment, you will very naturally find that you can't help naming sounds, identifying them, that you will go on thinking, that is to say, talking to yourself inside your head automatically. But it's important that you don't try to repress those thoughts by forcing them out of your mind, because that will have precisely the same effect as if you were trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron. You're just going to disturb it all the more. What you do is this. As you hear sounds coming up in your head, thoughts, you simply listen to them as part of the general noise going on, just as you would be listening to the sound of my voice, or just as you would be listening to cars going by or to birds chattering outside the window. So look at your own thoughts as just noises. And soon you will find that the so-called outside world and the so-called inside world come together. They are a happening. Your thoughts are a happening, just like the sounds going on outside. And everything is simply a happening, and all you're doing is watching it. Now, in this process, another thing that is happening that is very important is that you're breathing. And as you start meditation, you allow your breath to run just as it wills. In other words, don't do at first any breathing exercise, but just watch your breath breathing the way it wants to breathe. And notice a curious thing about this. You say in the ordinary way, I breathe, because you feel that breathing is something that you are doing voluntarily, just in the same way as you might be walking or talking. But you will also notice that when you are not thinking about breathing, your breathing goes on just the same. So the curious thing about breath is that it can be looked at both as a voluntary and an involuntary action. You can feel on the one hand, I am doing it, and on the other hand, it is happening to me. And that is why breathing is a most important part of meditation, because it is going to show you, as you become aware of your breath, that the hard and fast division that we make between what we do on the one hand and what happens to us on the other is arbitrary. So that as you watch your breathing, you will become aware that both the voluntary and the involuntary aspects of your experience are all one happening. Now that may at first seem a little scary, because you may think, well, am I just the puppet of a happening, the mere passive witness of something that's going on completely beyond my control? Or on the other hand, am I really doing everything that's going along? Well, if I were, I should be God. And that would be very embarrassing, because I would be in charge of everything. That would be a terribly irresponsible position. The truth of the matter, as you will see it, is that both things are true. You can see it that everything is happening to you, and on the other hand, you're doing everything. For example, it's your eyes that are turning the sun into light. It's the nerve ends in your skin that are turning electric vibrations in the air into heat and temperature. It's your eardrums that are turning vibrations in the air into sound, and in that way you are creating the world. But when we're not talking about it, when we're not philosophizing about it, then there is just this happening, this, and we won't give it a name. Now then, when you breathe for a while, just letting it happen, and not forcing it in any way, you will discover a curious thing, that without making any effort, you can breathe more and more deeply. In other words, supposing you simply are breathing out, and breathing out is important because it's the breath of relaxation, as when we say, "Whew," and heave a sigh of relief. So when you are breathing out, you get the sensation that your breath is falling out. Dropping, dropping, dropping out with the same sort of feeling you have as if you were settling down into an extremely comfortable bed. And you just get as heavy as possible and let yourself go. And you let your breath go out in just that way. And when it's thoroughly, comfortably out and it feels like coming back again, you don't pull it back in, you let it fall back in, letting your lungs expand, 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 until they feel very comfortably full. And you wait a moment and let it stay there, and then once again you let it fall out. And so in this way, you will discover that your breath gets quite naturally easier and easier, and slower and slower, and more powerful. So that with these various aids, listening to sound, listening to your own interior feelings and thoughts, just as if they were something going on, not something you're doing, but just happenings, and watching your breath as a happening that is neither voluntary nor involuntary, you are simply aware of these basic sensations, then you begin to be in the state of meditation. But don't hurry anything. Don't worry about the future. Don't worry about what progress you're making. Just be entirely content to be aware of what is. Don't be terribly selective, particular, say, I should think of this and not of that. Just watch whatever is happening.
Yeah, I'm back now. So I wonder if Oliver's there or if he.
Yes, I'm a little bit short. I'm just cooking some eggs, but I'm running between my computer room and the kitchen.
No, that's okay. That's okay. But I think also we've been on for a very long time, Oliver. So this is. I think we
Let's
should.
make a break for today.
Yeah, we can just chat a bit after it. But
Okay.
yes, just hang on for 5 minutes, and everybody else who's been watching or who's going to watch or whatever. Bye bye,
Thank
and
you for
thank
your
you.
mind. Thank you, brothers. Thank you,
Now,
sisters.
now is I'm gonna go for a long walk with the dog outside. It's pretty good weather here, so let's see if somebody wants to show up. They're they're welcome, or perhaps they should go to some of the bigger groups that's out there. We know there's people all over the world doing this, and
We
well,
talk later.
yeah, and we hopefully we'll have a great day, a great evening, and lots of good contact. I'm looking forward to seeing some of your reports on Facebook and anywhere else. So bye bye, and Oliver, you just stay for a second. Bye bye.